and it is working in bilateral way in all our countries that are presenting today. We work as bilateral commissions, meaning that it's a joint initiative of both governments, our national government and the US government. Fulbright program has already over 400,000 alumni all over the world, approximately half of them in the US, the other half all across the globe. It's working in over 160 countries, so basically everywhere you can imagine, except for a few countries where it is not currently possible due to political or human crisis situation. And we are extremely proud of having over 60 Nobel Prize laureates as our alumni and over 80 Pulitzer Prize alumni as our laureates as our alumni. But first and foremost, we are proud and happy to have each and every person, many of the alumni of the Fulbright program being today with us and soon presenting to you. Well, as you could probably already hear, we're recording this presentation, and we will be recording all 3 country presentations, and then we will stop recording before the Q&A session. I would encourage you to post your questions once you have them in the chat box. And then in the Q&A questions, we will be also taking questions if you want to speak. During the presentations, we won't be accepting questions that are popping up immediately. I would also like to ask you to keep yourself muted when you're not speaking. And here, without any further ado, I will turn the mic to my colleagues representing Fulbright Bulgaria. And here I would like to introduce Angela Rodol, who's herself double Fulbrighter. And if you haven't heard of it yet, you have to know that she's the International Booker Prize laureate from this year as a translator, together with the author of the book, Georgi Gospodinov, for the book Time Shelter. She's also herself a poet, singer, multi-talent person, but here and now in the role of the executive director of the Fulbright Bulgaria. And she will be joined by the alumna of the ETA program to Bulgaria, Sofia Kleinsetzer. Angela.
Thank you, Justina, your very kind introduction. Thanks so much to Fulbright Poland, all of our colleagues for organizing this. It's really wonderful to see so many familiar names here. I saw some of you at NAFA in New Orleans a short while ago, but I'm happy to meet new people and to share the word about Fulbright. So let me get my screen sharing rolling here. And okay. Let me go back to the beginning of my presentation. Okay, great. So I'm just going to dive right in. Justina talked a little bit about the Fulbright program at large. So we're just talk specifically about why Fulbright in our region and what our countries can offer to U.S. citizens interested in a Fulbright, and specifically U.S. students interested in Fulbright grants. So Fulbright Bulgaria, first of all, why our region? I think we have a lot to offer because the history and the culture of Central and Eastern Europe, I think, is less well known in the US. And I think now with especially the war in Ukraine, our region is becoming more and more important for US foreign policy. We need people who are familiar with and fluent in the languages, cultures, histories of the region. I think in our countries, there's a lot of potential for strong impact because many communities might not have had access to Americans, to American teachers, native English speakers, so you can really have an impactful Fulbright exchange experience. We generally have, I would say, small to medium-sized programs, so you have a lot of active commission support and robust involvement with the commission. And I think also a factor for students sometimes that are looking for their first abroad experience, we don't have language requirements for the most part, but we're always happy to see grantees that have language skills. So if you have previous experience, at least in Bulgaria, this is not a disadvantage. We love to see candidates that might have a heritage connection to our country or have studied the language or have been in Bulgaria on another project. And our commissions, for the most part, at least in Bulgaria, are very happy to talk to candidates about advice for hosts, because we know it's difficult to get in touch with a Bulgarian university. You might not know the lay of the land. So these are some reasons you might encourage your students to consider programs in our region. So Fulbright Bulgaria specifically, we have about 40 Americans in country per year. So we have 6 US scholars that come for a semester. They can teach, research, do professional projects like working with NGOs. We also have 5 to 6 student researchers that are here for a full academic year. I'll go into more detail. And then we have 30 to 33 ETAs. It varies every year, but a pretty robust ETA program for 10 months of teaching in Bulgarian high schools all around the country. So first, let's talk about the student research program. I myself was a student researcher way back in the ancient days of 1996. We have about 5 to 6 students every year. We have 3 core grants that are Bulgaria only. Those can be in any field. We've had people come in the arts, in social science, in STEM. Basically, as long as the project is interesting and well motivated, we will consider it. They're open to people after the BA, but it needs to be a really well thought out and feasible program. That's why sometimes graduate students who are in an MA program or PhD program are often strong candidates because they have more experience doing independent research. But that said, we consider all kinds of candidates. So 3 of those are Bulgaria only. Then we have joint grants with Romania and Greece. So that would mean 1 semester in Bulgaria and 1 semester in Romania, or 1 semester in Bulgaria, 1 semester Greece. And these projects also could be in a variety of fields. We've had people, since Bulgaria and Romania joined the EU at the same time, we've had people in poli-sci come and do comparisons, maybe people interested in Black Sea policy. Bulgaria, Greece, for example, we've had archaeologists come. We've had people talk about, the refugee crisis, how it affects Bulgaria and Greece. So these projects are pretty open. We also have 1 special grant for students in archaeology and art history. This is with a partner organization called the Balkan Heritage Foundation, and it includes a summer field school experience. So they get to take part in one of our partner organizations' field schools. They have everything from Neolithic to Roman to Greek to Thracian to medieval to socialist era. They have a lot of really interesting sites. So if you have any archaeology students that are interested in getting experience working in the Balkans, and especially Bulgaria, which after Italy and Greece has the most archaeological finds in Europe, this is a really interesting grant. The students, a lot of times they ask about affiliation. You can be affiliated with a university, with a government institution, with an NGO, with a think tank, a cultural institution. We can help you identify what we think might be the appropriate placement. People can have more than 1 placement. It's pretty flexible. So we encourage interested grantees to talk to us about what the best partner situation might be. I guess the benefits, you receive a monthly stipend, round trip airfare, research. We have Bulgarian language study allowances because we understand most people don't come with a level of fluency. In terms of language skills, people ask, do I need to know Bulgarian? And of course, it's very difficult to learn Bulgarian outside Bulgaria. So if your project, it has to be feasible for your project. If you're going to be studying, archaeology, you probably don't need to speak fluent Bulgarian. But if you want to be interviewing people with a anthropology type style project, you probably need a little bit of language skills. So the level of language skill you bring to Bulgaria will be commensurate with your project proposal. So that's our student research program in a nutshell. And some pictures. We were flexible about grant dates. So if people have, we had some really great food anthropologists who wanted to come in the summer and see how people plant and harvest. Archaeologists like to come in the summer. Other times people want to come in the winter. So we're flexible about grant dates, and we really work to help offer networking opportunities. We have a really big network of Bulgarian alumni that we try and engage with our students to give them more of a sort of a network of supporters when they're working on their independent projects. We also organize monthly cultural events for our scholars and students, take them different places in Bulgaria, get them to help them to get to know one another. So we see one of our students performing on a Bulgarian flute to inspire you. So that's the student program in a nutshell. Now we want to turn to our ETA program. We have a pretty large ETA program, 30 plus awards per year. All of our ETAs, with the rare exceptions, teach in Bulgarian public high schools. They're not in villages. It's not rural placements. Most of them are in towns of maybe 30 to 50,000 people, so regional towns. although, you know, you don't have to have teaching experience, but it's good to have some kind of youth leadership experience. That might be coaching, it might be tutoring, it might be working at a summer camp. You know, we like to see people that have ideas about how they're going to engage with their students outside of the classroom. It could be sports, it could be cooking, it could be arts, it could be volunteering. The program in Bulgaria is pretty intensive. It's 14 to 18 teaching hours a week. So it really is pretty much a full-time job. So this is not Fulbright Light. We expect people to come and really be part of their community. Most of our ETAs have a lot of extracurricular activities. We don't require individual research projects just because the language barrier makes that very difficult. So we really, you know, expect people to be focused on their teaching and then some community activities in their school, but also with their wider community. The schools we have a pool of schools that we work with every year, and many of them are language schools that specifically focus on English language, but there's also just general K through 12 schools, professional schools, math schools. So the profile of the school differs somewhat. Every student, every ETA has a mentor teacher that works with them to help them professionally and then personally. We offer our ETAs free housing, which is, I think, a huge advantage. I think we're one of the only commissions that does this, just because it's very difficult for a foreigner to, the Poles, Justina's shaking your head, they do this as well, but it's very difficult to find housing. So we require the schools to provide housing for the ETAs, which I think is, you know, a big benefit. We also have a 4-day work week. We don't require people to work on Fridays. You work from Monday through Thursday so that you have a long weekend every weekend, so you can travel, get to know Bulgaria, get to know the region, get to know your other ETAs in the country. So this is where, where we had ETAs last year. So Bulgaria, it's a pretty small country, size and shape of Tennessee, we like to say, but we really do have many, many grantees all over the country. So your weekends will be full of interesting travel experiences. And just some ideas about the types of extracurriculars that people have done. We have a grantee here working with refugees during the Syrian refugee crisis, another ETA who worked with an orphanage, mainly children from the Roma community, doing a soccer clinic and doing English lessons with them. We have a really great speech and debate program that I'll talk about specifically. We had an ETA who started a lacrosse team. So really, we encourage people to come and share what they're passionate about with their students in their communities. And I think one thing that's unique about Bulgaria is that back in 2012, 6 of our ETAs founded the BEST Foundation, which is Bulgarian English Speech and Debate Tournaments. And this is American style forensics. And now it's an independent NGO, but most of our ETAs coach teams or judge teams. And it's really an incredible experience. There's 800 plus high school students take part annually. The kids love it because in Bulgarian schools, they don't really have theater programs or speech programs. So for them, it's a really unique experience. And so if you have students or if you yourself are interested in if you did forensics, model UN, debate, and we love to see these candidates because they will certainly be able to contribute to the best teams that already exist at most of the Bulgarian schools in our network. So I just want to highlight, we have an online summer language course because we realize that most of our grantees, students, scholars, ETAs don't come with language skills. So we also have an intensive 7-day in-country orientation so that you really have a chance to bond as a cohort and also do some intensive language learning. We have various cultural activities. We have a robust network of partner organizations. We have a lot of staff experiences. We know that Bulgaria can be a challenging place to live, so we have a lot of experience in supporting grantees. And we also offer mini grants above and beyond the usual stipend to help with extracurricular activities. You want to start a lacrosse team? You know, if you give us a proposal, we'll give you money to buy, I don't even know what you need for lacrosse, the sticks and the nets, you know. So these are the sorts of things that we every year support activities to really encourage our grantees to be active in their communities. What are we looking for in applicants? We're very open, but I think, you know, someone who's flexible and adaptable, proactive, self-starter. Bulgaria is a great place, but, you know, it's very different. Sometimes culturally things take longer. They might not be as organized as we're used to in the US. So that's always, you know, somebody who's able to be flexible and work in a new environment, tolerant and open-minded, resilient, able to communicate well with people from different walks of life, ready to work in a town that's not a capital city. We don't put anyone in villages. It's not rural, but still it's a smaller town. We really encourage students from all kinds of backgrounds to apply, and especially people who are interested in being active in community service and engaging outside the classroom. So I think you all know, I would say, I'll share this, this presentation, and I'm sure most of you are aware of the timeline and the components of the application. So I want to give time for Sophia to say a few words. She was 2 years in ETA in Bulgaria, and now she works with the Commission supporting our ETA program and some of our Bulgarian programs. So Sophia, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, thanks, Angie. Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Kleinsasser. I do work for the Fulbright Commission now, but I was the ETA years ago in one of the first large, which was 10 people in my year. And now, as Angela already mentioned, we have more than 30 in country. So I've really witnessed this program expand and grow. I wasn't sure how to structure my talk because I'm not sure how much of this information is useful to you, but I thought I would just kind of say how Fulbright has impacted my life and what I think are some highlights of the program that we have here, specifically the ETA program, which I have more experience in. So I didn't know much about Bulgaria coming here. I had never been to the country. I had studied abroad in the region and have family in other countries in Eastern Europe, but I hadn't been specifically here. So I didn't have the language, and that wasn't a problem for me. I adapted pretty quickly, probably because I did have that experience, which we're realizing now is a difference, between generations of grantees, because we had these few years where people were maybe less able to travel abroad. So I would just say that it's definitely not necessary to know a lot about the country, but it is important to be open to, being curious about what's happening here and what's different about this experience. I'm not going to give you all of these details. One of my favorite things that I did as a grantee is something that I'm still involved in, and that's spelling bee. It was started by Peace Corps volunteers and is still run every year, and it's a big part of my life. I look forward to it every spring. I'm on the advisory board of this NGO that runs it. So that and the BEST Foundation, which Angela already mentioned, are two great examples of these initiatives supporting youth in the country that a lot of our ETAs do get involved in, and that's a really important aspect to highlight. So I think that there are lots of reasons to choose Bulgaria. It's a beautiful place. The outdoor recreational opportunities are stunning. There's amazing cultural sites, cities to visit, small towns and villages, the seaside, mountains, all of it. But I think one of the best reasons to pick Bulgaria is for the community that you'll find here as a grantee. We really encourage everyone to be vocal about any struggles that they're dealing with. And we're told again and again that people really do find a sense of community, that they feel supported, they make lifelong friendships, get involved in community organizations and other activities that just foster these connections that last for years after the grant. So I'm kind of an anomaly. I've stuck around, but a lot of people come back and visit, years later with their children. It's really a wonderful place, and I think that it really sticks with people for a long time. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you, Angela. So we're moving a little bit up north on the map of Europe, and we're going to Romania. And let me introduce my colleague from Romania, Mircea Dumitru, another Fulbrighter who leads the commission in her respective country. Mircea is a distinguished philosopher. He was the head of the University of Bucharest, the biggest Romanian and the best Romanian university, for 2 terms. He's also the member of the Romanian Academy of Sciences, and he used to be the Minister of Education and Scientific Research. While I'm reading the resumes of my colleagues, I always feel humbled by that. Mircea is joined by Mihai, who's the grant administrator at the Commission, and by the program alumna, Professor Teresa Boris. So turning the mic to you, Mircea.
Thank you very much, Justina. Thank you for having us and for organizing this very important meeting to all of us. I am very happy to see you all here, some old friends. I'm very happy to see that so many other people are interested in knowing more about the region and about our countries. Indeed, I had many opportunities to develop the higher education in Romania as director of the university for a short while as a Minister of Education. But let me tell you that the most interesting things that I am doing right now as Fulbright ED in Bucharest, because I feel that we can move forward some important things for higher education and especially for the students in Romania and for developing the connections with the United States. And as a matter of fact, the exchange program with the United States started way back in 1960, so 63 years ago. And over the years, we have like, I don't know, 35,000 American scholars and students who benefited from this very important program. This is the most important program that we have, not only with the States, but also with foreign universities and foreign institutions which work in the field of education and research. The Commission started 30 years ago in 1993, so it's a binational program, the same as in Poland and in Bulgaria. And I'm going to give you a very short introduction because my colleague Mihai Moroiu is going to present a PowerPoint to you and is going to give you more details. And also Teresa is ready here and happy to say about her own experience as a Fulbrighter in Romania. So first of all, we place the scholars and the ETAs only in major cities of Romania because it is our experience that we benefit the most if the ETAs and the scholars go to the main universities in Romania. That means that once in Romania, you have the chance to see the major cities in the south, where the capital city is located, Bucharest, but also you can experience Transylvania. A very important university is located in Transylvania, Babeș-Bolyai University in Cluj-Napoca. Also, some other universities in the Carpathians, like Ioan in Brașov. There is another one which is in the west of Romania, in Timișoara. Also, a very, very good university, the oldest in Romania, which started in 1859 in Iași, in Moldova. So actually, being here in Romania, you are going to have this opportunity not only to experience the university where you go, but also go to some other places and have a network with the other Fulbrighters. That has been the experience that we had in Romania in the last years. In terms of the country in general, you know that now Romania is borders Ukraine, and the war is, as it were, at our border. But let me assure you that the country is very stable, very safe from a political perspective. There has been no bad experience for the Fulbrighters. And moreover, since you are going to be in major cities, let me tell you that you are not going to have any problem in speaking English, because practically all the people that you are going to meet can understand English. And moreover, in the universities, all the people, including the students, are speaking very fluently English. The country is very rich and very diverse, so you can have this opportunity to visit the Danube Delta, the Black Sea, the Carpathians, the fine regions of Transylvania. So you can have also that kind of culture experience in addition to the scientific and scholarly experience that, of course, is very important for us. The programs that we have in the universities cover all the fields in the science, natural sciences, mathematics, humanities, social sciences, the arts. And we are happy to host scholars and also the ETAs, who are very, very important, especially for the programs in economics, in modern language, and in general in natural science. So this being said, I'm going to turn to Mihai, who is going to present a PowerPoint material, giving you more details about the range of programs that we offer for the American Fulbrighters.
Hi there. Thank you, Mircea. Thank you, Polish colleagues, for organizing this very precious meeting. I'll share the screen now for my PowerPoint, for our PowerPoint. I will simply go down it and say a few things about the program. So we started in 1960. Up to now, we have almost 4,000 grantees, US and Americans. What is really important is that the exchange program, the Fulbright program, contributed enormously to the democratic development of Romania. At the end of the 60s, suddenly it was possible to study English in Romania. Until then, Russian was compulsory. And people embraced not only the language, but American culture, literature, movies, everything, rock music, you name it. So this is why in Romania you'll meet many people who can speak at least a little bit of English. Teaching and research can be performed perfectly in these languages. I want to comment a bit more about that. In 1993, we started as a Fulbright Commission, and since then we diversified a lot our field. So there were under communism such departments as sociology or journalism and so on had simply disappeared, had been taken over by the Communist Party. And these were recreated after 1990, and greatly with the help of American grantees who contributed to this process enormously. As you can see from the pictures, it's a very lively program. Many of the grantees come to Romania without having any background information on our history, culture, and so on and so forth. And many of them leave Romania as friends. They keep in touch with their Romanian colleagues and students, with us at the Commission. Well, why Romania? It's a very diverse country. The Fulbright program is an exchange program. You give and take always. And I think you can take something as much as American scholars and students bring to us, they can also take back to the US with them. We encourage people and provide even funds for them to move around as much as possible, visit each other during the Fulbright grant, and so on. Well, very shortly now, I'll go into the two programs. You know them very well, and you'll have this PPT at your disposal afterwards, so you can study it in more detail. So for the Scholar program, it's basically devoted to teaching or doing research, but also for professional or artistic projects. We are flexible as to the duration. 3 months would be minimum, but it's 4 and then up to 9 months. We can help with affiliation, and we do help with affiliation. For next year, we have planned a number of 15 grants. Well, alumni speaking about the program. Financial issues. So let me tell you, we don't have complaints from scholars or students regarding the amounts of money that they receive in Romania. It's enough, not to say the least, to carry out their grants. I would only like to draw your attention to a chapter we just introduced this summer, actually. It's the Community Integration Allowance of $800, which it's a one-time payment for language learning, because we saw that many of our grantees, students, but also the scholars want to learn a little bit of Romanian, but also for specialized counseling, such as psychological counseling. Okay, I'll go Further, the student program, I'll point out to the differences, and we are happy to have a joint grant with our colleagues in Bulgaria. Unlike Bulgaria, though, our ETAs go to universities, and they teach at the university level. Also, we have the group of student researchers, many of them at PhD level, preparing their dissertations for the paper. So here there is the list of awards as we have it, and okay. Benefits are also enough, and of course they will also get the $800 for language and psychological. Okay, so besides these core programs, we have the Fulbright Specialist Program and so on. We are all of us, my colleague Loredana, who we are working together. She actually prepared this PPT, let me tell you, and we are both available to to answer any questions from you anytime. We are really looking forward to seeing you in Romania. Our contacts are here. You can find them mine, but I can also contact you to Loredana. Well, Teresa, thank you very much for accepting to be with us on this program. So I'll give you the floor, and at your suggestion, I'll also move further the images that you kindly prepared for the PPT. Thank you.
Thank you, Mihai. I was very honored to speak. As Mircea and Mihai know, I am very passionate about my Fulbright experience. It is not hyperbole to say that it was transformational. I actually was at Radford University when I got my Fulbright, but now just as of Tuesday, I started a new position at Emory and Henry. I'm in Southwest Virginia, and I know Mihai stepped away, but I was going to ask him to advance the slide. I'll go ahead and just speak. I was fortunate to receive a teaching and research grant in the fall semester. Mihai, will you advance it, please?
Yes. I shall.
In the fall semester of 2021. And I was based in Brașov, Romania, where Transylvania University is located. Unlike Sophia, I actually had been going to Romania since 2015 because of an Appalachian Carpathian Mountain Conference. But I had several colleagues, both senior Fulbrighters and junior Fulbrighters, ETAs, who had not been to Romania. And we all just helped each other navigate the landscape, no matter where we were in the country. And so, and if you'll advance it, Mihai. So I was teaching Appalachian literature, which is where I'm from, Appalachia, in the eastern part of the United States. I was teaching Appalachian literature with a coal focus at Transylvania University to third-year American Studies students. And in addition to teaching, I was able to bring two of the authors, are friends of mine, and I was able to bring them to Romania via Zoom to speak not only to my students, but other Transylvania University students and the community at large in Brașov. And you can see in that bottom right corner there, that is my friend Anne Pancake, whose novel Strange as This Weather has been, I taught. And so if you'll advance it again, Mihai. And I will tell you, speaking, the picture up in the right top corner was actually Mark, who is the ETA with me. And Sophia and Angela both talked about the relationships that you build, and their relationships with Romanians, but also the other Fulbrighters. And I actually married Mark, the ETA, and his now wife, Molly, in the United States when we came back. And I'll give you another example of that too. This was where I was doing my research in the coal mining region of Romania. It's called the Jiu Valley. And If you'll advance it, Mihai. I was very fortunate. Angela mentioned, you know, if you're doing research, it's good to have the language skills. I understand more Romanian than I can speak, but fortunately, Yulia Salka in the picture there with her Planet Petrilla shirt, she is a doctoral student at Transylvania University. I'm actually her co-advisor now, and she was helping me conduct interviews in the Jiu Valley. I was conducting the ones in English and she would conduct the ones in Romanian. This is Jan Barbu, who is an incredible human being. He is one of my key informants and providing other interviewees for me. He is located in Petrilla and is an incredible human being, as I said. We have just developed such a great friendship as a result, even before my Fulbright, but especially with my Fulbright, and bringing recognition to the Jiu Valley and how they are transitioning to a post-coal economy. Mihai, if you'll advance it. And I will say with Yulia, she was studying with me this semester in the United States. I established an Erasmus Plus agreement between Transylvania University and Radford University. And then I married Yulia and her fiance, now husband, in Las Vegas in May. So those relationships are really so special. And one of the biggest pieces of advice I will recommend to you, and Sophia and Angela both talked about this, is when you or your students are traveling and on these Fulbright experiences, keep yourself open. If you're open to exploring and meeting new people, it is incredible the relationships that develop. And so these on the right are my colleagues, Georgetta Morcus and Christian Prala, who are professors at Transylvania. They actually came to the States last year. I was just in Greece with them traveling because of our friendship. Irina Niakshu, who is on the left here, is a botanical artist. You can see some of her artwork there. Because she came to I met her just fortuitously in January of 22. We bonded immediately. She came to the States on an artist residency, and because of that, I was able to introduce her to a museum director, and she is actually going to have an exhibit at a museum here in Virginia starting in November. And if you'll just advance it one more, and this is it. I was fortunate, Mihai and Nircha and Loredana gave me an extension of my Fulbright, so I went back in the fall of 22 to conduct more interviews. I met the new Fulbrighters coming in and have developed great relationships with the senior scholars and the ETAs from that group as well. It is just, Romania is an incredibly rich, diverse, beautiful country. And I can't say enough about what a great experience I had. And I am happy, I put my email address at the beginning of my section of slides. I'm glad to answer anybody's questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you, Mihai and Mircea, for your input. Wow, I would feel encouraged immediately to go either to Bulgaria or to Romania. However, right now we're moving from the Black Sea region to the Baltic Sea region, and let me briefly present our offer that we have for you and for your candidates in Poland. The benefit of speaking as the last person is that a lot has been already said, so I don't have to repeat many information. I would refer in a number of places to what already Angela or Mihai told about the programs. Let me just give you a brief background information about Poland. Poland is one of the most pro-American countries in Europe. There's a lot of positive attitude towards Americans, and with current situation in Ukraine, there's growing presence of NATO and American troops in Poland, and there's a very high, very intense presence and activity of the American diplomats in Poland as well, which is also increasing the visibility of Americans in Poland and increasing opportunities for our grantees to interact with the Polish society, but also with their American fellows presenting either business or military presence or diplomatic effort in Poland. Poland was this country that received most of Ukrainian refugees. It's been estimated that roughly 3 million people stayed in Poland for a certain period of time. Currently, it's probably around 1.5 million, which is actually for our grantees providing additional opportunities to interact with refugees, to support them, to teach English to refugee children. And a lot of Polish universities and academic teachers and researchers as individuals are actually supporting their Ukrainian peers. There are growing partnerships. There's a lot of support. So also being placed in Poland for those of the American grantees for whom it is important to do something tangible for the Ukrainian society, for Ukrainian academia, this is actually additional opportunity that there is. I'm saying that also to to repeat that, or maybe share this knowledge if you don't know it for the moment, that the program for American citizens, Fulbright program for American citizens for Ukraine is suspended for now, for both, for scholars and for students. So please do not encourage people to consider Ukraine for now. But if they are interested in doing something for Ukrainians to support them, they can find those opportunities in either of our countries, and also in Czech Republic, in Slovakia, in many other countries in the region, where they can interact with Ukrainian diaspora and with Ukrainian academics, or work at the universities who have vast programs engaging Ukrainian students, or working directly with institutions in Ukraine, providing some online classes or doing research together. So moving forward to the program, and I will go quickly through our offer and then leave floor to Sarah Brady, one of our wonderful ETAs from the last cohort, who will tell more personal stories and show some pictures. So we were established as the first program behind the Iron Curtain, and given that we've already developed a community of over 5,000 alumni, and as in Bulgaria, we have roughly 40 grants every year provided to American grantees. Our mission statement is advancing knowledge and deepening connections, one exchange at a time. And we are offering similar programs as our colleagues in Romania and Bulgaria. For the US Student Researcher Program, we're allocating around 10 places every year. We are open to all disciplines, and the program lasts 2 semesters. It can be shorter for those grantees who are already at the advanced stage of their doctoral dissertation. Otherwise, it should be at least 9 months. We are kind of underlying in the recruitment process that we are very open to candidates at the master and doctoral level, but this does not exclude completely candidates who are just graduates, who freshly graduated from their bachelor degree. Every year, 40 to 60% of our grantees in this category are actually bachelors. So please do not discourage your young candidates. English Teaching Assistant Program, again, around 10 positions. Our grantees, ETA grantees, are placed at the university. So that is the difference with Bulgaria. What differs us from Romania is that actually this is one of those programs where we try to boost diversity within our program, and we try to place people at the universities that are scattered across the country. So as people are placed at the universities, obviously these are not small towns, but it wouldn't be Warsaw or Krakow in most cases. So people would rather go to smaller yet academic centers. And they would stay for the whole academic year, which lasts 9 months in Poland, and they would teach practical English or specialized English if possible. We encourage people who are graduates of all sorts of studies, but our priority in the recruitment is that they do have some teaching experience. It can be either in teaching English to foreigners or in their respective fields, because unfortunately, unlike in the case of Bulgaria, we do not have that much possibilities to provide additional training. We do that, but it's not as extensive as in case of Bulgaria. Our Scholar program is the biggest of all those three. We're accepting up to 15 people who can be researchers or teachers or combine both. Again, all disciplines welcome. We do have a few positions of distinguished scholars. Please check the catalog for that. This is mostly in humanities, positions placed in Warsaw, Poznan, and Lublin at our very respective partner institutions. Our grant benefits include obviously monthly stipend, which is different for different grant categories, round-trip allowance, and that includes also allowance for dependents, for the family members. As in all other countries, there's accident and sickness program for exchangees plan, but there's also additional private healthcare plan that we are paying upfront for all our grantees and that they can use. There's administrative and academic support and also a monthly financial support provided to accompanying family members. We're also, as the other commissions, providing a relocation and settling in fund and also a research book and conference fund, which is in a different amount depending on the grant category. What we also included a couple of years ago is psychological assistance. There's a system for that our grantees can use, and in a way that they can feel comfortable and anonymous towards the commission, they can schedule visits with psychologists or therapists. Our first installment is paid around 4 to 6 weeks before arriving to the country, so grantees can make their immediate payments from the grant and they don't need to invest their private money into starting their adventure with Fulbright. Other benefits that are non-financial include the orientation meeting, gathering for Thanksgiving, which also includes the first evaluation meeting, 2-day mid-year meeting that is happening in the winter, and I think quite nice graduation ceremony we have in June. There are also a lot of opportunities for cultural engagement and public diplomacy. The embassy and the consulate general in Krakow are also very eagerly involving our grantees into those activities. And obviously, grantees are becoming part of the Fulbright alumni community here in Poland and globally and in the US. As in other countries, we also offer Fulbright specialist program to the Americans. It quite often happens that scholars start their adventure with Polish partners by coming to Poland as specialists, which is short-term program from 2 to 8 weeks. So they start by coming as a specialist for short intervention, and then they develop this partnership, and a couple of years later, they come to Poland as scholars for full semester or full academic year, or sometimes it goes the other way around. While being on a grant in Poland, they develop further partnerships and they are requested as specialists by other institutions, and they come again and again as specialists. And the other programs that are listed here, Fulbright Schumann Award, Fulbright Global Award, and Fulbright Hayes Doctoral Dissertation Research Abroad Program are valid for our all 3 countries as well. So these might be actually opportunities that some of your candidates would be seeking and would be more interested than our national offers. Our focus in recruitment is on justified need to come exactly to Poland. The long-term impact that this award may have on candidates' career, on their institution, on possibilities to extend cooperation between Poland and United States. Aligning with Fulbright Program mission and diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is at the heart of the Fulbright Program wherever you go. So for further contact with us, first of all, you may contact Aleksandra Szaniawska, who's here with us, who arranged this meeting and who's contacting you with our offers. But also for all our programs, we have dedicated program coordinators. For the EDA program, Aleksandra Braumańska was here with us. And for the scholar and student program, it is Paulina. Your candidates can get their contact details by going to our website, but also in the catalogs of awards that IIE is publishing for us. You have their contact details, and my colleagues would be eager to inform you further, and also in case of scholars and students to help them out with searching for proper affiliation around Poland. And now let me invite Sarah to present her slides. So
hi, everybody. Hi. Thank you very much for being here. And it's wonderful to see everybody. I feel really happy and lucky that I get to talk to you about my experience. So I was an ETA that actually just very recently finished my grant. So I left Poland less than a month ago. So I'm still adjusting to my life here, and I won't repeat, and I will be concise for the sake of time to make sure you have questions, but I do want to echo what everyone has said here, especially what the other alumni have said, that this is a very transformative, life-changing experience. And there's a reason Fulbright advertises with the words that they do, because it's true. And so in my experience, I was in Lublin, which you can see here in the picture on the left. Lublin is a city in Eastern Poland. It is actually very international, and it is full of a lot of young people. There's many universities there, and I taught at one of those universities. So I taught general English courses, writing courses, and American culture. And American culture was my favorite because it allowed for more discussion with my students. And I really built a lot of connections with those students. On the right here, you see a picture of our ETA cohort that year. I cannot stress enough how much community I found. I know this was said before, but these are really inspiring, lovely people, and even beyond the ETA cohort, the researchers and scholars I got to speak with and form relationships with were really excellent, lovely people. And I think all of that was really paved by a very lovely Fulbright Commission. And I'm not just saying this because they're on the call, I'm saying it because it is true. These people working in the Fulbright Poland Commission really do everything they can to make your time in Poland really lovely. And it's very appreciated, but it's just a very wonderful group of humans. So Poland is really a wonderful choice. So to talk to you more about my day-to-day here, I want to show you this bottom picture here. This is me in an empty classroom at my institution. I took this on the last day that I taught ever, actually. So it was a sad day, but on this day, I had 3 of my students give me hugs before they left. And keep in mind, these are university students. We are not that far apart in age, but I think that just goes to show these connections that you make with your students. Outside of the university, I was involved in the American Corner, which is through the public library in Poland. I would give presentations to younger students. I would host conversation clubs for community members. I also did primary school visits around the region. So a lot of these small schools in some of these villages these students have never had a chance to interact with a native speaker. So it's really, really valuable to be able to go there and speak with them and share culture and teach conversation. So those experiences were very, very rewarding. As you can see in the other 3 pictures here, I have more pictures of people. this picture here on the top left actually is 3 of the other ETA members saying goodbye. One of them was leaving Poland, and as you can see, we were quite sad to go. And this picture here on the right is a picture that I took with my mentor. So as was mentioned earlier, I think with other Fulbright programs as well, you are given a professional mentor that will assist you with adjusting to life at your institution. I got very lucky. My mentor was a lovely person, and her husband and their little dog pretty much adopted me into their family. And I got to experience a lot of Polish culture and just general human connection in a way that I did not ever foresee. So things you don't expect are what you should expect. Some things that I learned. I did not know Polish. I did not have a good language proficiency when I came to Poland. And for the most part, you know, you fare just fine, especially I was very lucky I was in Lublin, but you really learn self-reliance. And I thought that I, you know, was adaptable and self-reliant, but you really realize, you know, how much there is to gain once you are put in a situation like this. And so I have a newfound understanding of so many things that are very different than what I thought I would take from this program. So I have great things to say. So I would really recommend Fulbright Poland. So with that, I will keep it pretty concise here, and I will turn the floor back to Alexandra. So thank you, everybody.